Just a second. So in chapter 26, what we are seeing here,
సారీ
now
బ్రో
there
మాకు బాలే లీవే జాయిన్ కావాలి ఒకసారి
అక్క ఏమైందక్క అర్థం కాలే
స్క్రీన్ షేర్ కాలేదు మాకు
కాలే ఒక నిమిషం అండ్
ఒక్క నిమిషం మిమ్మల్ని పిన్ చేసినట్టున్నా ఓకే 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 ఓకే
ఓకేనా ఓకేనా
యా యా
Okay,
యా ఓకే
okay,
బ్రో
okay.
థ్యాంక్స్
Super. So what we are seeing in chapter 26 is now there was a famine in the land besides the former famine that was in the days of Abraham. And we have seen in chapter 12 when there was famine and Abraham also decided to walk towards Egypt. He in fact has gone to Egypt. Uh, yes, he had to face some challenge, but at the same time, the Pharaoh of Egypt gives abundant of wealth to Abraham and he sends him off from that place. Now, what is happening here? Now, there was a famine in the land besides the former famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went to Gerar to Abimelech, king of Philistines. Right? Now, in the second statement, what we see is the second verse, what we see. And the Lord appeared to him and said, do not go down to Egypt. Right? Why? Because Isaac first thought of walking in the footsteps of his father and going to Egypt. I do not know what is the correlation between Abraham's family and Egypt. Whenever there is a famine, we see the sons and Abraham walking towards Egypt, right? And every time they have gone to Egypt, there has always been a trouble rather than a blessing. I mean to say, the end has always been great than what we can expect. But at the same time, they had to go through troubles in Egypt. Now, the Lord appeared to him and said, do not go down to Egypt, because the intent of Isaac was to go towards Egypt. Dwell in the land which I shall tell you. So, the Gerar, where Isaac has gone and met Abimelech, is what God is showing him. Live in this land, I will be with you, and I will bless you. For to you and to your offspring, I will give all these lands. The same promise that God has been, talking to Abraham in all the previous chapters. And I will establish the oath. Again, God is reminding, or he's talking to Isaac about the promise that he had made when he said, on my behalf, as for me, I am going to bless your children and multiply them. I will establish the oath that I swore to Abraham your father. I will multiply your offspring as the stars of heaven and will give to your offspring all these lands. And in your offspring, all the nations of the earth. So, who is God talking about here? Is giving an indication to Isaac about the Lord Jesus Christ, where he's saying, in your offspring, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed as we are today. Because Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge. As we have discussed in previous chapters, as we have learned so far, that it is not by deeds, but it is by faith that the salvation is kept for us, right? And again, if we see what God is talking to Isaac, and in your offspring, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, it shall be done. But why is it being done? Because your father Abraham has obeyed my voice and kept every command that I have given to Abraham. It might be the covenant, it might be the command of baptism or circumcision in those days, every promise, and every time we see, even to the sacrifice of Isaac. Every time we see God speaks to Abraham, and next day, early morning, Abraham wakes up and does that. So Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge. my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. If we can refer to Genesis chapter 17, verse 7 to 8,
I will establish my covenant as an everlasting covenant between me and you and your descendants after you for the generations to come, to be your God and the God of your descendants after you, the whole land of Canaan, where you now reside as a foreigner. I will give you as you and as I will give you I will give as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you. I will be their God.
praise God. Right. So God is again, reaffirming the promise that he has made to father of Isaac, that is father Abraham, and he is reaffirming and he is fulfilling the promise that he has given to Abraham in the life of Isaac. So Isaac is where we see God intervenes in the plans of Isaac and says, "Okay, Isaac, don't go to Egypt, but live in this land that I am telling you." Right? That is where we go back to verse number 1. Now there was a famine, besides the former famine that happened in the days of Abraham. Isaac went to Gerar to Abimelech, king of Philistines. Now Isaac has gone to Gerar to meet the king of uh, Gerar, that is Abimelech. And last chapters we have seen Abimelech is nothing but a term that is used to refer to the commander or the chief of those people, that is Philistines. In the previous chapter also we have seen, couple of chapters back we have seen where Abraham has met Abimelech, and again we are seeing Isaac is meeting Abimelech. So Abimelech is not the name of the person, but the commander or the king that is ruling in that land. So this Abimelech must be son or grandson of the previous Abimelech. So Isaac settled in Gerar when the men of the place, when the one second, when the men of the place asked him about his wife, and we have seen the same characteristic or characteristics of the people or the behavior of people of this land in the previous chapter also, when Abraham has come to that land with his wife Sarah, right? So Isaac settled in Gerar. When the men of the place asked him about his wife, he said, "She is my sister." For he feared to say, "My wife," thinking, lest the men of the place should kill me because of Rebekah, or they might kill me and take my wife because she was attractive in appearance. So now we are again seeing the second most beautiful woman that is spoken about in Bible, that is after Sarah. We are reading about the beauty of Rebecca. When he had been there a long time, after some time, Abimelech, king of Philistines, looked out of a window and saw Isaac laughing with Rebekah, his wife. So, as per Jewish, I mean to say, when the translation was done, in Jewish translation, it is written as being intimate with Rebekah. So Abimelech called Isaac and said, "Behold, she is your wife. How then could you say, 'She is my sister'?" Right? Laughing, we all understand that laughing can happen between siblings. That's not a problem. But the word that was used in Hebrew Bible, and when the translation happens, it says being intimate, right? In So that's the reason Abimelech called Isaac and said, "Behold, she is your wife. How then could you say, 'She is my sister'?" Isaac said to him, "Because I thought that I will be killed." And we have seen in the previous chapters also, when it came to Abraham, the verse was different. "Because I felt there is no fear of God in this place among your people, hence I had to tell the lie." But here it is straight away saying that Isaac says, "Because I felt that I will be killed for the sake of my wife Rebecca, hence I had to lie to you." Now, exactly we see the same history repeating here As with Abimelech in the previous chapters, also Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us?" One of the people might easily have lain with your wife or laid with your wife, and you who have brought guilt upon us. So Abimelech warned all the people, saying, "Whoever touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death." And Isaac lived in this land. So even to this day, the land of Gerar is still there, but it is not habited by the people. If you see in the map, it is quite clear that this land, sorry, is the one which is close. Sorry, zoom it a little. So this is the land and which is near to Gaza Strip, right? So this land is not habitant now, but this land is more of a agricultural land which people are still, cultivating. And it is believed that this land is quite fertile land, and agriculture is famous in this place, or it is prominent in this place, which is very near to the Gaza Strip. And even to this day, we will see Gaza Strip is again populated by Philistines or Palestinians, and the rest of the land is where the Jews are living. So Isaac sowed in that land and reaped in the same year 100-fold. The Lord blessed him, and the man became rich and gained more and more until he became very wealthy. Now, please, let's be reminded that in the previous chapter, Abraham has given everything that he had to Isaac, right? And here again, we are seeing Isaac is growing and multiplying in his riches, and he has become very, very, very wealthy. Any questions so far?
No, brother.
Prabhakar brother,
అన్నా
మీరు కూడా ఈ చాప్టర్ మెడిటేట్ చేసిరు కాబట్టి
అన్నా
ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఆల్ on any point, please feel free to add in
షూర్ అన్నా ఓకే.
anything that we have missed so far, anything that you must have come across in your meditation, and which we should cover.
లేదన్నా ఇట్స్ ఫైన్ నౌ యాజ్ ఆఫ్ నౌ ఇట్స్ ఓకే.
Okay. So now what is happening? If we refer back, what the word says is Isaac sowed and he has reaped 100-fold, and God has blessed him in his, the work of his hands. And what we are seeing is Lord blessed him, and the man became very rich and gained more and more until he became very, very, very wealthy. Now he had possessions of flocks and herds and many servants, so that the Philistines envied him. Now, one of the problem that we still see to this day, the Philistines envied him because he was being blessed by God, because whatever he does, God is blessing him and multiplying him 100-folds, right? So the problem is with the envy. So the Philistines envied him. Now the Philistines had stopped and filled with earth all the wells, or probably they have closed all the wells that his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham, his father, right? And we have seen for some time or for many years, Abraham also lived in Gerar, even to the time when, to the time of death of Sarah, Abraham has traveled from here to Hebron, right? So, and even in the previous chapters, in the time of Abraham and Abimelech, we saw about the wells that Abraham has dug, and we also saw about the conversation that Abraham had with the current Abimelech's father or grandfather about a well and a dispute, right? And we have also seen in those days Abraham has paid for that well. in front of everybody, so that there was every witness that this well belonged to Abraham. Now, what we are reading here is because of the envy that Philistines have on Isaac, they stopped and filled with earth all the wells that his father's servant had dug in the days of Abraham, his father. And Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from us, for you are much mightier than we." So, reminding or understanding or referring to the great blessings of God in the life of Isaac. So, even, and don't know if you have come across this news. So, I don't say news, but it was more of interviews that were happening across where referring to the current war, they say that most of the times, uh, I don't know if I can make that statement, but there is a testimony saying that when the missiles are fired towards Israel, people say that they feel as if hands are protecting Israel. There are hands, or God's protection is around that land, that it doesn't allow those enemy missiles to fall in there. So there are many testimonies around it. So if you have come across, you can also read it. Let's see. So God's protection has always been there, and God has always been fulfilling the promise that He has given to Abraham towards his children. And Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from us, for you are much mightier than what we are." So Isaac departed from there, encamped in the valley of Gerar, and settled there. Right? This is the valley that the word is talking about, or the place that where Abraham was also living. And Isaac dug again the wells of water that had been dug in the days of Abraham, the same wells that Abraham was, had dug in his time, his father, which the Philistines had stopped after the death of Abraham. And he gave them the names that his father had given them. So he is redoing what his father has done. He is rebuilding what his father has built. When he has moved to Hebron, or when he died, the people who were living in that land had obviously occupied whatever they could and closed everything that Abraham had had. But when Isaac's servants dug in the valley and found there a well of spring water, the herdsmen of Gerar quarreled with Isaac's herdsmen, saying, "The water is ours." So he called the name of the well Esek, which also means quarrel, which also means struggle, because they contended with him, because they fought with him. Then they dug another well, and they quarreled over that also. So he called its name Sitna, means stress. And he moved from there and dug another well, and they did not quarrel over it. So he called its name Rehoboth, right? Which we can see in the map, Rehoboth, saying, "For now the Lord has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in this land." From there he went up to Beersheba, and the Lord appeared to him the same night and said, "I am the God of your Abraham, father Abraham. Fear not, for I am with you and will bless you and multiply you of your offspring of my servant Abraham's sake." ఒక్క క్షణమమ్మా. Yep. Sorry, brother. కొంచెం గొంతు ఎండకపోయినట్టు ఆయన. So he built an altar there and called upon the name of the Lord and pitched his tent there. There Isaac's servant dug a well. Where what are we talking about? We are talking about Beersheba. We have seen we are talking about Beersheba. We have seen Bible study. So we have seen the wells that were dug in the time of Abraham. In the previous chapters, we have seen those pictures in those uh, wells in Beersheba. Do you remember? Or shall we see those images again? Simon is Lord. Huh?
Praise Lord, praise Lord. Radiation and
Praise.
principle.
Simon. Okay. Fair. So this is the whole journey of Isaac, walking towards and away from Gerar, finally, coming to Rehoboth, having a well there, again going back to Beersheba, and finally settling there and building an altar to God, right? Where God spoke to him. And what we see next is when, while he was living in Beersheba, so same as what we have seen in the previous chapters, this Abimelech also went to Isaac with Ahuzat, his advisor. Ahuzat is again not the name, it's the ministry or the rank of that person. Ahuzat is nothing but an advisor. And Phicol, the commander of his army. We have seen the previous Abimelech also going with Phicol to Abraham, right? And what is Abimelech saying? Isaac said to them, why have you come to me, seeing that you hate me and you have sent me away from your land, because of the envy of Philistines? But however, why did you come to me, seeing that you hated me and sent me away from you? Where every time he was digging a well, the same people of Philistines came, they stopped him from doing what he was doing with the same wells that his father owned. Now they said, we see clearly that the Lord has been with you. He has blessed you in everything that you have done. So we said, let there be a pact between us. Again, same history what we have seen in the previous chapters when Abimelech came to Abraham and asked exactly the same thing, saying that let there be a pact. You are mightier, you are greater, God is blessing you in everything that you are doing. So let's have a pact between you and us, and let us make a promise with each other or a covenant with each other that you will do us no harm, just as we have not done any harm to you and have done to you nothing but good, which we have seen is completely false. They have done every possible hurdle that they could do to Isaac so far. So, what we have done to you, nothing but good so far, and have sent you away in peace. You are now the blessed of the Lord. So, thanks, man. Clearly, we see how visible God's blessings have been in the life of Abraham and in the life of Isaac, God fulfilling his promise that he has made to Abraham that he will always be with the children of Abraham and that he will always protect them, take care of them, bless them in whatever they're doing, and especially the promise of the land that he has given to Isaac's father. So he had made a feast and they ate and drank. In those days, the acceptance or whenever there is a treaty, it was a customary that all the elders would sit together and make that pact, what we have seen in the previous chapter. So he made them a feast, they ate and drank, In the morning, they rose early and they exchanged the oaths. Last chapter, we have seen Abraham has given 7 Eve lambs, right? And Isaac sent them on their way. They departed from him in peace. The same day, Isaac's servants came and told him about the well that they had dug and said to him, "We have found water in Beersheba." This is the same well that we have seen in the previous chapters. When Esau, now this is a chapter, this is a story that has passed by. They're living in Beersheba. And now again, we see a new trouble in the life of Isaac, but in his own house. When Esau was 40 years old, same as when Isaac was 40 years, and same that Jacob is also 40 years, his twin brother. But here the word is talking about Esau. Esau was 40 years old. He took Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite, to be his wife, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and they made life bitter for Isaac and Rebekah. So these are the two wives. The word is talking about two wives of Esau, and he also married the third time, which is the daughter of Ishmael, which we'll see in the next chapter, right? So I meant to say it was clearly we can see that God's promise is for the younger son of Isaac than the elder one, right? And previous chapters we have seen and we have witnessed and we have referred why Abraham's children are not supposed to marry people or the daughters from other tribes, right? Abraham has been careful. Unfortunately, in Isaac's case, it did not come true. I meant to say Esau has married from Hittites, and also in the coming chapter, we'll see he has also married the daughter of Ishmael as well. Fair